Aloha, it's Kiana, and here are today's top Hawaii headlines from the editors at the Honolulu Star-Advertiser. Also, mahalo to Longs Drugs Hawaii for sponsoring the show. Head on over to your neighborhood Longs Drugs for all your shopping needs. Big Island residents are being warned that Mauna Loa might erupt. Scientists don't expect the volcano to erupt soon, but they are on alert due to a recent spike in earthquakes at its summit. Experts say it would take just a few hours for lava to reach homes closest to vents on the volcano. Hawaii Civil Defense Agency is meeting with residents to educate them about preparing for a possible emergency. They recommend having a go bag with food, identifying a place to stay if forced to leave home, and making plans for reuniting with family. According to the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory, Mauna Loa has been in a state of heightened unrest since the middle of last month. That's when summit earthquakes jumped from 10 to 20 per day to 40 to 50 per day. Mauna Loa last erupted in 1984. The saga continues in a bizarre case involving a Kapolei couple accused of stealing the identities of two deceased children and conspiring against the government. Prosecutors say Walter Glenn Primrose and Gwen Darrell Morrison have been living under the names Bobby Fort and Julie Montague for decades. Today, a federal judge ruled that Primrose, who spent more than 20 years in the Coast Guard, will get a new attorney. Assistant federal defender Max Mizono was representing Primrose, but he filed a motion to withdraw earlier this month, citing a breakdown in the attorney-client relationship. U.S. Magistrate Judge from Trader granted the request. Prosecutors have suggested the case is about more than identity theft. A search of the couple's home revealed pictures of them in Russian KGB uniforms, an invisible ink kit, documents with coded language, and maps of military bases. Attorneys for the couple have said they are not Russian spies. Long-term mortgage rates inched up again this week to top 7% for the first time in more than 20 years. Mortgage buyer Freddie Mac reported that the 30-year fixed-rate mortgage averaged 7.06% this week, up from 6.94% last week. Rates on a 30-year mortgage averaged 3.14% at the same time in 2021. The last time the average rate was above 7% was in early 2002, when the U.S. economy was left shaken by the September 11 terror attacks. Creeping mortgage rates are the result of aggressive steps taken by the Federal Reserve to tame inflation. In September, the Fed raised its benchmark borrowing rate another 3/4 of a point. It was the fifth increase this year and the third consecutive 0.75 percentage point bump. The Fed is expected to raise its benchmark rate again when it meets next week. Big Island police are searching for a man in connection with an alleged armed robbery at Kealakekua restaurant Tuesday. Kona patrol officers responded to a report of a robbery in the 81-6000 block of Mamalahoa Highway at about 8:30 Tuesday night. A man brandishing a handgun had entered the restaurant and demanded money from an employee. He fled on foot with an undisclosed amount of cash. The suspect is described as being in his 20s to mid-30s, 6 feet tall with a slender build, and between 180 to 200 pounds. He was wearing dark-colored pants and a dark-colored hooded sweatshirt at the time of the robbery. Anyone with information is asked to call the police department's non-emergency number at 808-935-3311 or Detective Sheldon Nakamoto at 808-326-4646. Anonymous tips are being taken through Crime Stoppers at 808-961-8300. Hawaii's tourism industry is showing signs of life. Visitor arrivals in September were within 5% of pre-pandemic times. That's according to new statistics released by the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism. More than 703,000 visitors came to the islands in September. That represents a 95.5% recovery from September 2019. An increase in domestic visitors helped to offset lagging international arrivals, including visitors from Japan. Japan is typically Hawaii's largest international source market, but arrivals were down 83.3% from 2019. Despite the lower than usual numbers, visitor spending rose to more than $1.8 billion in September. That's an increase of 18.5% over the same month in 2019. For more on these stories and all the latest headlines, subscribe to the Honolulu Star-Advertiser. Visit Hawaii's top source for breaking news online at staradvertiser.com and download the Star-Advertiser mobile app. Mahalo, have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.